Please be seated. We appreciate your courtesy as we come in. We're very happy to see you, Florida. We're here again to do Unit 1. We're going to introduce ourselves, and we would like to meet you, and then we will move to the question.
Hi, my name is Penny McConnell, and I'm a professor of history at Columbia College in South Carolina.
And I'm Elon Bludinger. I live in Washington, D.C.
My name is... Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Finish.
It's my fourth year as a judge on the Nationals, and I chair the Board of Trustees for the Washington International School.
I'm Sue Leeson. It's nice to see you again. I'm a retired justice of the Oregon Supreme Court and a mediator in the U.S. Federal District Court.
Hi, I'm Adriana Gomez.
I'm Olivia Gibson.
And I'm Annabelle Dada, and this is our teacher, Miss Rosie Hutmanen.
Congratulations again on being here this afternoon. As you know, we're looking at question 1 in Unit 1. Why was the history of the Roman Republic both an example and a warning to America's founding generation? Why do you think the founders chose a republican or representative government rather than other known forms of government? In Federalist 39, Madison argues that it is essential to such a republican government that it be derived from the great body of the society, not from an inconsiderable proportion of it. Do you agree or disagree, and why? Please begin.
Though unfit for imitation and repugnant to the genius of America, the Roman Republic is proof of the necessity of a blend of stability and liberty. James Madison's reflection on the ancient muse of American constitutionalism illustrates the framers' desire to build a Janus-faced government, with one face reflecting Republican precedents and the other forewarning its failures. The Roman dual consul and, at times, dictatorship warned that such an executive model could fall into conflict and corruption, creating a despotic military tyrant. Yet the capability of the consuls to appoint and veto reflect the fact that the United States is a true progeny of the Republic. The Roman Senate and Assembly, appointed and popularly elected houses, respectively, parallel our bicameral legislature, which, in 1787, was composed of appointed senators and elected representatives. While the Roman practice of using popular assemblies to conduct minor trials served as the inspiration for juries, the distorted fusion of antiquity's legislative and judicial responsibilities prompted the creation of an independent judiciary.
I took the road less traveled by, and that made all the difference. The words by poet Robert Frost captured the souls of the founders and framers as they laid a political prototype for Republican government. In the Declaration of Independence, 27 arguments were presented against the establishment of a monarchy in America. Their experience with an unjust king confirmed that an executive should be neither divine nor despotic. Clinging to the coattails of monarchy, aristocracy was also discarded because it was viewed as a tool to stifle the voices of the many and impose a self-serving, elitist government. The only other option was democracy, but images of corruption and tyranny of the majority led John Adams to warn that democracy never lasts long. It soon wastes, exhausts, and murders itself. Thus, rejecting all existing forms of government in 1787, the framers sculpted a hybrid of democracy and republicanism, where political officials were subject to limited government, organized elections replaced coups, and where sovereignty would lie with the people themselves.
In aristocracies, the rights and welfare of the many may be sacrificed to the pride and greed of the few. James Madison's words echo the principle of popular sovereignty as the core means of establishing a truly Republican nation. After scrutinizing the static class distinctions between patricians and plebeians of antiquity, Madison came to the conclusion that deriving power from the great body of society was quintessential in ensuring permanence and legitimacy. We agree with Madison when he hypothesized that popular sovereignty and equality fostered liberty, justice, and stability. Republican government by a favored class would hinder representation for other groups and ignite discontent with government as forewarned by the Roman Senate and colonial experience. In his essay, The Defense of the Majority Rule, Madison proved that majority government is the least imperfect, and warned that those who denounce majority governments denounce at the same time all Republican government.
Sounds like you're ready for some follow-up.
Sure. The famous historian Edward Gibbons, who was noted for his book, this thing called The History of the Decline of the Roman Empire, he placed the blame on the loss of civic virtue, which was required for the success of the Republican idea, on the rise of Christianity and a declining economy. He claimed that it made the population less interested in the matters at hand and more focused on as he called it, they were less interested in here and now, more willing to wait for the rewards of heaven. The decline of Rome was seen by many to be as a result of the lack of decline of civic virtue. Is there any connection at all, or does Republican government presuppose a secular society and a society with an economy that is stable or growing?
The statesman Cicero once stated that the budget should be balanced and the national debt should be reduced and aid to foreign hands should be curtailed lest Rome fall. Therefore, I would have to agree that while lack of civic virtue was probably, since the vast amount of expansion of citizenship in the Roman Empire was probably essential in the fall of Rome, an increased national debt as well as an expansive regime was what led to Rome to fall.
They were fighting many wars and were trying to acquire new lands, and that was one of the reasons why they fell. They were spreading their economy too thin, and that can also be seen as a parallel to our own government today.
I would contend that civic virtue did play a major role in the fall of Rome, in that once their elected officials began to become more corrupted, there was more conflict within the executive body. For example, Cato the Younger, who remained a model citizen, a civically virtuous person, was eventually defeated by Julius Caesar, which eventually led to the fall of Rome. But I would contend that rule of law would have been necessary for this Republican form of government to perpetuate, because the absence of rule of law allowed for this corrupt politician, Julius Caesar, to trump the more civically virtuous man, Cato the Younger.